In. Recording in progress. All right. What's up? What's up? What's up? Greetings, 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 family, friends, and the world. This is part two of Mikael's Knowledge of Truth. This is part two of Mikael's Knowledge of Truth. And tonight we're talking about history. We're talking about history tonight. And also, this is because Knowledge of Truth. And the day before coming into the night was September 17th, 2025. The day was September 17th, 2025. We're here tonight sharing information about history. And this is Mikael's Knowledge of Truth. We're here every quote unquote night after Monday. We call it Monday night, but night after Monday at 9 p.m. And I was just going through history a few moments ago. After I did the prayer, history just hit me in my mind, right? And then I was getting ready to speak on things that's going on in this day and time, which is about the 1933 when birth certificate, social security card, and ID card came in effect, which the bankers came together, put together. The things that has happened in time past, which 1933 was the beginning of the New World Order. Excuse me, the New World Order at this time. And I was sharing at the beginning of that. At the beginning of that, I mentioned a name. I would like for y'all to do some homework, and I'm gonna share some homework with y'all tonight. This is part two of history. Now, part one, we went into prophecy of history to give an understanding of what's going on today according to what happened then, and I show you the facts according to today by what was written in the beginning. So I show you spiritually today by what was spoken of in the beginning according to Genesis. This is what I did in part one. Just like to give a recap. In Genesis chapter 1, as I shared, that Genesis 1 through 5, the first day, was spiritual when the creator seen everything, when he made the light, when he separated darkness and things like that at that time. You can go back and check that out. I went from there, and from there went through the making of woman, which is a man and a woman, and how they were supposed to conduct themselves compared to what has happened, and how the system, which is the serpent, actually manipulated the woman, which manipulated the man to be in the position that they're in today. Go back, check that information out. I started there, and it lasted longer than I expected, but I gave a clear understanding of what happened, how it happened, and where we are in today's time according to that story. You can always use examples of what's going on today according to what has happened, and that's actually prophecy of what's going on today. Now, I'm gonna bring it a little bit more home today of where we at today, according to the New World Order, the things that has happened, and some names that I would like for y'all to do some research on. I call myself printing it out, but it didn't print out. Only one of the things printed out came out, but I got other information that didn't end up coming up, and it's probably gonna come out later. But it didn't print out. I don't know why. But I would like for y'all to look up Adam Weishaupt. Adam Weishaupt, the founder of Illuminati, which is the founder of the Jesuits, um, the things that's going on in the world today, and the way the world is being ran. Your children and everybody is growing up in a system this of the New World Order. And I'm going to give you some details from what I remember reading about Adam Weishaupt back in the 90s, in the late 90s. I read about him. I don't know what brought me to look him up. I don't know what it was. It was the creator. I had no I don't know why I say it like that. It had to be the creator that brought me to look at it, to look it up and check it out, right? So hold on one moment. I don't know why these babies stopped. Ugh, I guess it wouldn't know. That might have blew. But my wife knew something about this. Well, might blew a fuse. I had two little heaters on. I'm upstairs now in our new studio. The studio we planned on making when I first got here. So we're moving in upstairs in the room where we at to make the studio. So it's a little cold up here, so we just got to make it happen. So it's going to come about. But other than that, as I was saying, Adam Weishaupt, look him up, pull the name up. His Adam Weishaupt is Wesieg. I forgot how to spell his name, but it's Adam Weishaupt. They say he was a philosopher, but him and his children, I'm telling you what I remember. I'm going by what I remember. I told you I remember stuff from here, from what I did my research, right? And Adam Weishaupt, I ended up reading about him. He is the founder of the Illuminati, is the founders. He was, they say he was a philosopher. Things has changed since when I read it. Like I said, I was going to the library. I was doing a lot of research in my past. So it's a lot of things that's to me that's been changed to suit the narrative, to make things look different than what it was. I do know from what my reading was, Adam Weishaupt, he had I think 7 children. And he made a plan with them to become, be rich or whatever, how it came about. One of the sons married his sister. Because they wanted to keep the money in the family. I remember that. One of the sons married his sister. Also, as time went on, they had a plan about the New World Order. They wanted to start it sooner than it happened. And it was a plan that this guy was on a horse, and he was riding a horse, and he was going to take the plan somewhere to get it started, and the creator act of God, struck the man off the horse. Killed the man, act of God, that happened. If y'all read up on Adam Weishaupt, check out the story. That's one. I'm gonna break some stuff down to you right now before I go off into anything. So I'm just gonna give y'all some homework to check out some history about the reason why I went into Genesis 1 through 5, shall I say, Genesis 1 through 5. I went through that to show you that the Father seen everything from beginning to end. He's seen everything. Everything he saw from beginning to end. And I shared that, and I'm not going to go back into it because I have to break it down again. So he shared it, and then I went to Isaiah chapter 46 and 7, 8, 8, 9, and 10 to break that down, to share. And it talked about us being the transgressors. So I'm not going to go in there. I'm trying not to go there because I've started getting in there to break it down. I'm trying to go on further than where we are. You can go back and read that information if you like. And I shared a lot of information about the system today and how we are of the system, how the system manipulated our women and how women manipulated the man at that time, and to be in the position that we're in today, and how why the women are in the position they are in today because of the system. The system is the serpent. I always have to give a recap before I move on. Now, as I was saying, Adam Weishaupt is one to do your homework on. Check him out, research it, check it out, right? That's one. It was bankers in 1933 that came up with the concept of the birth certificate, social security card, and ID card. When they came up with that in 1933, and I even had a video in 1934. I have a video. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put it in the post since I'm thinking about it. I have a video when a woman is sharing that in 1934 they used the educational system to educate the people to become slaves into the system. No different than what I'm about to share with you. They educated the people to become slaves to the system. How did they do it? What do you do? What's the difference between work and going to school? The only difference is at work you're working, at school you're learning to take care of the system. And what do I mean by that? You leave home, you go to school, right? After going to school, you go to class. After going to class, you go to lunch. After going to lunch, you go back to class. Then from class, you go home. Once you go home, you do whatever you do outside the rest of that day. Then you get some rest and get up and repeat it again for 12 grades or until you get out of college. But I want to give you something else on college situation. But I'm just gonna go with this and work. Then I'm gonna jump to the college. I did this information and shared it some time ago. Go to school. Go to school. Get up. Go to school. Go to lunch. Back to class. Then home. What you do when you get out of school and you start going to work? You get up. You go to work. You have a lunch. Sometimes you have a break, 15-minute break, what have you. But you have a 30-minute to hour lunch. Back to work, then home. Same thing, same cycle. Same cycle. But what are you doing? You are learning careers. They used to teach you to learn a trade. When we was coming up, you would learn a trade to take care of you, learn how to build homes and things like that. Now everything is about careers. A career does what? A career helps another business build off of your labor. A career helps builds this system off of your labor. What you do builds this system off of your cash you're getting paid from. I'm going to leave it there. It's a lot more that goes to this, but this is a private matter. But I'm just going to say this. The funds you make from the job you do, you're making it from yourself. That's all I'm going to say. Because that's a private matter. But I wanted to put that in your ear. If you want to know more information, you have to come to our private class and come to learn information. Not come and sit down and you're coming to learn because this is educational where we at. But other than that, you're paying yourself to work. I'm going to just leave it like that one more time. So when you like I say, so you're working, the system is training you to work to build the system. And this is a well-oiled machine because as long as Morpheus said, it uses you, I don't have one. Don't have one. It uses you as a battery. Let's just say it uses you as a battery, right? So this system uses you as a battery because once you used up, what it do? Throw you away, get somebody else to put in your place. Another battery. And once you used up, use somebody else to put in your place. Another battery. Once you used up, the system continues, but you're long, old, dead, and gone. But everything else is still going on. The system is still going on smooth. The schooling system, now that I got past the going to school, going to work. Now let's get to the college. Let's get to the college situation. You're paying to go to a college to learn something. And you know something, me and one of my sisters had a conversation about this today. Had a couple conversations about it, but let's just say this. You go to college. You go to college, right? You pay $400 for a book. Let's just say $400, right? That you're going to only use maybe less than maybe this much of, maybe. But you're studying all that, but when you take your test, it may not be nothing but a couple of pages for tests that you're learning. You're learning all this stuff for what? Are you going to use it throughout life? The stuff you're going to use at college to learn, which is taking up your time, which is really taking up your time, your life, but it's getting paid off of you. You're paying them to learn something that they're really not going to use, but put you in the workforce for you to pay them back. People ain't paying no attention. You go to work, you go to college to pay them back when you get out. That's what you're doing. When you go to college, you're going to college, you think you're learning something. You may be learning something. But how many people go into the field that they're learning? How many people really go in the field? A lot of people go to college and end up being at McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's. Very few gets into the craft that they learn. Very few, right? And majority of the time, that if you get there, it's because of your Greek hood. Your Greek hood, right? History. Greek. What I mean by Greek? Sororities and fraternities. Alpha and all these gangs, your gangs that you get with. Your organized gangs. Sweet. Whatever they say. It's organized gangs. Y'all ain't out here fighting or nothing like that, but y'all hold down positions for people in your gang to get a job to keep this system going well organized. Still part of the system. And all of it is of the Roman Empire. This is what y'all fail to realize. The Roman Empire is engulfed over it and nobody can see because that's the umbrella. The umbrella of the Roman Empire, everybody else is running under it like ants. Doing whatever they're doing, living their life, not paying what's going on, but the Roman Empire is overall overseeing everything. History. In a folded way that you've never seen it before. This is all history. The history is, I already gave you the ones who's in charge, which is Adam Weishaupt. This is where your schools is set up from. Adam Weishaupt, and Adam Weishaupt is the founder of the Illuminati, which is the quote-unquote ones in charge of everything that's going on. And everybody else that's a part of that organization is no different than a part of the gang that when your SUI and all that, fraternities and all that other stuff. It's nothing but a big organization. Everybody's connected. Everybody's connected. But you got gangs here, gangs there, and gangs. You got different gangs, but everybody's connected one way or another. They're different gangs. Yeah. They may not be, they organized gangs. They may not be violent. They may not be harsh, but they're gangs. The system is a well-organized, oiled machine. And this oil machine is made of iron. Iron runs good when it's oiled down. Like the Tin Man, right? EIN. You know? Man, it is really, when your mind opens up to see the real truth of what's going on around the world, what has happened, and the whole world is engulfed in it, and they cannot even see it. You try to tell some people about it, they will fight you tooth and nail, and I'm at the point where, okay, I'm just here to give you a message, and if I give it to you, take it fine, if not, fine. But the point is, the whole world has been deceived. The awakening is going on right now. If you want it, it's for you. If it's not, if you don't, hey, it's not for you. I'm thankful to the Creator. He has me where I am and to know where I am and to do what I need to do to allow those to see the things they need to see. I thank you, Almighty Yah. I praise you, Almighty Yah. I said I would do what I'm doing, and I believe I'm doing it. Only you know if I'm doing it to your best of standard. But I thank you for allowing me to be and do the will that I promised to you that I would do. And I think I'm doing all right. But hey, I can't make the people listen. I can only give it. And I'm glad you shared that with me back in '95. Was that '95? 95 and 96, but I think it was not 95, 2005. You said if I brought you to the truth, you're putting the songs right and give it to the world. Right then, I was like, oh, okay, then I'm good. If I put it out there, you get it, fine. If you don't, fine. The Creator has allowed me to know a great deal of information of different genres, of lot across the board. I don't brag, but I know a lot, and I'm thankful to know what I know. But I don't know everything. I'm gonna tell you that. I don't know everything. If I don't know, I tell you what I don't know. But what I do know, I'll let you know. But like I'm saying, Adam Weishaupt, check him out, read up on him so you can so you can have an understanding of history. All right? That's one thing. where else I want to go, because I'm going to lay down some things for y'all to. It's up to y'all to do the research. I'm just going to lay it down for you to check it out. All right. And I'm going to show you some stuff too, since we're right here. I really, matter of fact, yeah, this is one of them right here. Last week, I would urge everyone to go. I did last week. Me and G1 did last week. We did. He shared some information out of about ChatGPT, and I shared information on history concerning who the beast is, who and what the beast is, and which is, I called it Revelation 13 in full. Revelation 13 in full. I urge everyone to go check that out. That was last week, which I believe was the 10th. Today the 17th, so I think that was the 10th. Please go check that out. That was on Mikael's Knowledge of Truth last week. If you get time, please check that out. I urge you to do that and get your book with you and check out the information that G1 shared about ChatGPT. And then when I came back and shared information according to it as well. I think it was very informative for people who's looking for knowledge and to know things that's going on in this day and time past. As I said, Adam Weishaupt. Now, before Adam Weishaupt, we had, was it before or after? No, this was before Adam Weishaupt. I'm going to give you a little bit of information here. This is in the Bible, though. This is stuff that's in the Bible where, hold on, I want to go in that one. Now, last week I shared information that people, like I said, history. This is information people don't know about because it's history that's not in the Bible. I've done research. Like I said, it's a lot of stuff I know that I not only that I've done research. I'm not going to say that I learned from my teachers. I learned from people. I learned from studying, researching, going to the library, debating. I don't debate no more, but I do have conversation, and I try not. If reason I say I don't debate, if you're right about something, I will agree with you. Debaters, to me, they're quick to just prove a point. If you're right, I say I'm right, but I add to what you're saying, or I just share the point of view of where you're going. I don't try to change nobody's mind. I give information of what I come to know, but my ears are always open for that. Like I shared in part one about the Ethiopian book. I was listening to that, and it was a guy that so far it was less than even half into the story. This guy heard someone came to him and told him Jesus was supposed to be there. He believed it, and this is where the Ethiopian book took off at. See what I'm saying? So this is what I mean by studying to know. When you study to know, you understand things other than what people just give to you or put in your face, like the Council of Nicaea did with the New Testament, right? So with this, I went through it last week, and I should go through it again. But what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to give you certain points of view. I'm not going to go through it. Right here. What occurred at the Council of Nicaea, and also they got the great scheme. What was the great scheme? What happened at the Council of Constantinople, right? This information I've read years ago. That's why I'm telling you about things I come to know. This information, but what I haven't found and I lost, I will share this with you. Some people have read it and they don't, but the whole point is they don't put the two and two together. The mind don't connect. Wait a minute. why is this? Why is that? It's something that I read that a lot of people don't understand. And I think it spoke about that in the information about the Ethiopian book. I think it kind of mentioned it in there in the information that they were sharing in that. The reason I'm saying that is because I remember them mentioning it, and they talked about it was a lot of gospels. It was a lot of gospels they had under a table, right? This was before they came up with the New Testament and the four God spells. When you look up, wait a minute now, I might have it over here. I actually, it might not be in this one. I might have it. Let me see, because I want to read this to you if I got it right here. The gospel. What does the word gospel mean? Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Nope. Oh boy, I don't have it here. But I actually have it. Actually, my phones are occupied, so let me see. No, this is other information. Okay. This last one. No. This here is nope. That's other information that I'm going to be submitting. But gospel. The gospel only means good news, good story, or good telling. It's only a story. That's what God spell mean. God-spell. God spell. It's a spell that the Creator put on everyone. I'm gonna say it like that. But through the Roman Empire, it's a spell. You have to do your research and look up in the etymology dictionary. Etymology dictionary will give you the understanding what gospel mean, right? Excuse me. Etymology dictionary will give you that information. But it only means good news, good telling, or a good story. And the Romans was good for that. This is stuff that people don't know. They don't research and they don't find out. And if they look at it, they don't look at it for what it is. They look at it for what they want it to be. That's the problem we have today. They want things to be something that's not. So that's the gospel. Um, they had many of writings under a table. The Council of Nicaea. And they said the writing that end up on top of the table, we're going to make those. The next day, they said the next day we're going to close the door, lock the door, and whatever ends up on top of the table the next day, excuse me, whatever ends up on top of the table the next day, we're going to start off the New Testament with that. That's where your Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John came from. Okay, there we go. That's where your Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John came from. Hope this one charged up a little bit. So when your Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and John came from the God spells, and this is the God that they gave you, which is Jesus in the New Testament. Because if you look in the authorized King James Version, you'll see the word Iesus, I-E-S-U-S. And that word I-E-S-U-S comes from the Babylonian god Ea and the Greek god Zeus. They combined the name Ea and Zeus. Now I learned this from one of my first teacher when I was in Mississippi, named by Robert Divine. Robert Divine. His name is Rabbi R. Divine. It is Rabbi R. Divine in Jackson, Mississippi, where I was under his tutelage from 96, beginning of 96 till I believe that was maybe 2002. Maybe. I may have went there before then. I may have been before then, could have been, but at least the 2001 or 2002. No, I think it was 2002 because I think I was still there because 2001, well, 99, I did I did a conference. I did a video at Jackson State. 2000, I ended up going to Jackson State, being a dance choreographer. 12 o'clock. Been a dance choreographer for the which I say dance aerobics for the summer for the children in 2000 and 2001. And it was in 2001 or 2002 when I ended up going to Shalom. So just was sharing, but Rabbi Artivine shared that information about Ea and Zeus. That's where I grew. That's where I was learning that from. Learned that there, and from the research. And he was a phenomenon teacher when it came to information. But that's where I learned that from. Ea and Zeus, Ea Zeus, in the authorized King James Version, and then in the revised King James Version, after they came put the J in the English alphabet, then they changed the I to a J and they made it Jesus. But if you notice in Revelation 13, verse 14 and 15, it talks about an image made to the beast. The image is Jesus made to Christianity. You can't get Christianity without Jesus. You can't get Christianity without Jesus. You can't get Jesus without Christianity. Let me see if I got enough energy over here for Instagram. Oh, sorry about that, y'all. And here we go. You need some energy over here, so I have to switch y'all up. Y'all wasn't too. There we go. There wasn't. There we go. All right. So let's get you popping. Facebook, Instagram. So, as I was saying that Izus is in the authorized King James Version, which is the 1611. But in the authorized King James Version, that was authorized. In the revised King James Version, you got Jesus, right? So now that we have Jesus, and then they say they made an image to the beast, an image to Rome, which is Christianity. That image is Jesus, which people is changing from Jesus to Yahshua or whatever. But the point is they made the image in order for it to be worldwide. It's worldwide. Am I right? Do your history, do your research, and find out what I'm sharing with you. Go in these Bibles and check them out. Actually, the Gospel of Marcion is something that a lot of people don't know about. Maybe y'all should check them out. Priority of the Gospel of Marcion. Marcion is someone. Now, my other teacher, which I can say my third teacher, my second or third, what have you, because the teacher that was after I left Rabbi Divine went to Herman Taylor, who actually Rabbi Divine taught. He started learning under Elisha. So really it's looked like Robert Divine or Rabbi R. Divine and Brother Elisha is really those two teachers. It's just that Brother Herman Taylor was learning from him, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as I know, after we moved to Shalom where he was at. But Brother Elisha was out of Cincinnati, Ohio. The Brother Divine was out of Jackson, Mississippi. I was with him for 8 to 10 years, I'll say it like that. Then I was with Shalom, which was under the tutelage of the information of Brother Elisha. And Elisha was really sharing more information about the breakdown. And he's the one who actually talked to me about Marcion. This is priority of Marcion. You ought to look him up. Look up Marcion. Find out more information about him. This is stuff people may not know because this is history that people don't know about. If you're just reading the Bible, everything isn't in the Bible. It's information out there that we need to know about, we need to research, and we need to find out. because things has been made and laid out, and there's a lot of things that's around us that we don't know about. So the more we research, the more we know, the more we know, the more we'll find, and more truth will be revealed. So let's give a little bit of information on Marcion for what we have here at the moment. Now, we'll go from here. I'm just going to give a little bit on Marcion, so I'm going to go into what happened at the Council of Nicaea, but actually, they say that they got their information from Marcion, from what what's been shared. But priority of the Gospel of Marcion, 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 the Gospel of Marcion, or Marcion, what have you. But some scholars believe the hypothesis of the chronicle priority of the Gospel of Marcion is a possible solution to the synoptic problem. This hypothesis claims that the first produced or compiled gospel was that of Marcion, and that his gospel of this gospel of Marcion was used as inspiration for some or all of the canonical gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. See that? I'm going to say that last part again. This gospel of Marcion was used as inspiration for some or all of the canonical gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. A contemporary proponent of this hypothesis is Matthias Kinglart. Contents: Marcion Sinope, 85 BCE, I believe, or 85 AD to 160, is the founder of the Christian movement called Marcionism. See that? Marcionism. See, this is information people don't know about until you pull it up and check it out. Marcionism. Marcion is regarded by numerous scholars as having produced the first New Testament canon. The first New Testament canon. He also wrote a gospel or adopted a pre-existing one called the Evangelion, now commonly called the Gospel of Marcion. Evangelion, now commonly called the Gospel of Marcion. Church fathers say Marcion wrote the Gospel of Marcion himself, and that the Gospel of Marcion is a revision of the Gospel of Luke, with some passages expunged from it to find Marcion's theology as hypothesis and say on the relationship between the Gospels of Marcion and of Luke is called a pastoristic hypothesis. Patristic hypothesis. However, this is not the only hypothesis. Some argue that the Gospel of Marcion precedes the Gospel of Luke, and that the Gospel of Luke is a revision of the Gospel of Marcion. Others argue that the Gospel of Marcion and the Gospel of Luke are two independent versions of a canon source, and that the Gospel of Marcion is an unaltered version of this source, or is more faithful to this source than the Gospel of Luke is. Others go further and consider that the Gospel of Marcion was the very first gospel ever produced, preceding all others, including the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Marcion hypothesis. There has been a long line of scholars who, against what the church fathers said, claim that our canonical Luke forms an enlarged version of a proto-Luke, which was also used by Marcion. This dispute was especially vivid in 19th century German scholarship. In 1942, John Knox published his Marcion and the New Testament, defending that the Gospel of Marcion had the canonical priority over Luke. After this publication, no defense of this theory was made again until 2006 articles. One of Joseph Tyson and one of Mathis Kinghart. Knox and Tyson believed that Marcion used and falsified Proto-Luke, while Kinghart, who at the time did not defend that the Gospel of Marcion was the very first gospel ever produced, asserted that Marcion used Proto-Luke as he found it. That is, Marcion's gospel and Proto-Luke are identical, right? And this one that's made again to 2006. All right. Because this is just talking about publications here. Now, that was Marcion and information on it, but I didn't get a chance to share with y'all the little illustration that they made. Check this out. If y'all can see it. Gospel Marcion. Marcion on top, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John at the bottom. Marcion on top. Matthew, Mark, Luke. That's a little illustration that they had there. So, just wanted y'all to see that. Y'all can do your own research on the priority of Marcion or the Gospel of Marcion. Y'all can look that up. Now, I got a little bit of information on Luke, right? Luke-Acts. Luke was supposed to be the one who wrote the book of Luke and the book of Acts. All right? Let me read that to you. Luke-Acts is the composite work of the gospel according to Luke and the Acts of the Apostles in the New Testament. Both of these books of the Bible are credited to Luke. See, both these books of the Bible are credited to Luke. They also describe the narrative of those who continue to spread Christianity. You see that? Ministry of Jesus and the subsequent ministry of the apostle and the apostolic age. See, they push this. By them pushing this, and in 2 Thessalonians 2nd chapter at verse 7, it says, the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Third and fourth generation. Second commandment in Exodus chapter 20, verse 4, actually in verse 5. When it says, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, thou shalt not make any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, earth beneath, or waters under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For Yah thy father am a jealous father, visiting the iniquity, the ignorance, upon the fathers, upon the parents, upon the third Greek and fourth Roman generation of them that hate me, but showing mercy, grace unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. This is the third and fourth generation. This is when the iniquity doeth already work. 2 Thessalonians 2nd chapter 7 through 12. So I just read Luke Acts Luke down to the apostolic age, authorship. Both the books of Luke and Acts are narratives written to a man named Theophilus. The book of Acts started out with the former uh they treat they I don't know if that's trustees or treaty trustees, but the former trustees with Treatise have I made, probably referring to the Gospel of Luke. The view that they were written by the same person is virtually unanimous among scholars. Luke-Acts has sometimes been presented as a single book in published Bibles or New Testaments. For example, the original New Testament, 1985, and the books of the Bible, 2007. Luke is the longest of the four Gospels and the longest book in the New Testament. You see that? Luke. Together with Acts of the Apostles, it makes up a two-volume work from the same author. You look at that. Called Luke-Acts. The cornerstone of Luke-Acts theology is salvation history. The author's understanding that God's purpose is seen in the way he has acted and will continue to act in history. You see that? God's purpose, look at that. The author understanding that God's purpose is seen in the way that he has acted and will continue to act in history. Composition and settings. It divides the history of first century Christianity into three stages, with the gospel making up the first two of these. You see that? With the gospel making up the first two of these, the arrival among men of Jesus, the Messiah, from his birth to the beginning of his earthly mission in the meeting with John the Baptist, followed by his earthly ministry, passion. You see that? Passion, death, and resurrection. The Gospels source are thought to be the Gospel of Mark for the narrative of Christ's earthly life. The hypothetical saying collection called the O source, and a collection of material called the L for Luke source, which is found only in this gospel. The work is Hellenized. You ain't charging? Oh, no wonder. It wasn't plugged up. Okay. The work is Hellenized and written for a Gentile audience, possibly. In part to counter a gnostic understanding of history. Marcion, a famous second century heretic, you see that? Marcion, a famous second century heretic who used a modified form of Luke known as the Gospel of Marcion, did not use Acts, perhaps because he was unaware of it or intentionally excluded it from his biblical canon. Arianism, a proto-orthodox apologist, is the first to use the mentioned Acts specifically against Marcionism. Criticism. Christopher Hayes contended that King Lar's 2006 case makes a number of physiological errors, misunderstands the nature of how Marcion is contended to have redacted Luke, and offers an inconsistent cause on how he views that Luke had redacted Marcion. For example, while one argument of Marcionite priority over Luke rests on the claim that it is unlikely that Marcion deleted significant portions of Luke rather than Luke having expanded significant portions of Marcion's, Hayes hold that Marcion also deleted significant portions of Paul's letters. You see that? To create his apostolicon. Thus, Hayes sees it as special pleading to acknowledge that Marcion edited it down Paul, and to also hold that Marcion did not edit down Luke. In addition, Moll says that all surviving sources say that Marcion is the one who edited Luke, and therefore the burden of proof is on advocate of Marcionite priority to provide the counter argument. All right, but what I will go into from here, make sure this is in the right area. That's where it's supposed to be at. Okay, no. I think here. This is supposed to be over. Here. Yeah, it's supposed to be like that. And Luke. Just make sure I had it on here correct. There you go, just like that. All right, just want to make sure I had that together. Now, a little bit more on this Luke situation. Both need the same thing, but I got, yeah. Both need the same thing, just that this right here has got less information on it. It's cut off. But this right here, y'all see what I'm about to read. It says, Luke is an interesting writer. Check this out. Luke is an interesting writer because he did not know Jesus Christ personally. Now, how you going to write a story and have the longest book in the Bible, the New Testament, which is Luke, the longest book in there, and you didn't know him, and you're going to give this big story like you know him? You got to understand the difference. Excuse me. Luke is an interesting writer because he did not know Jesus Christ personally. He became a follower after the Lord's death when Paul taught him the gospel. You see that? Paul didn't even know him because Paul was young. Paul was a little boy when they killed Stephen, whatever his name was. Stephen. They stoned him to death. Paul grew up persecuting the people. He had an epiphany, as they say, according to their story. Then Paul taught Luke and Barnabas taught John, whose surname was Mark, right? And Barnabas taught John, whose surname was Mark, and Paul taught Luke. So how are they going to give stories about something they don't know? So again, Luke is an interesting writer because he did not know Jesus Christ personally. Jesus never existed. See what I'm saying? That's why he can go around and tell a story about something he don't know. Matter of fact, if you go to Luke chapter 3, I believe it is, you'll see where he gave the genealogy, and you don't see Solomon in there. You can see where he's off. Y'all don't know because people don't. This is what I mean by study. When you study, I just gave you a clue right there. Go to go to Luke chapter 3 and look at the genealogy of the one called Jesus. Then go to Matthew chapter 1 and look at the genealogy of Jesus and match them up. You're going to see one coming, you don't see one going. But match them up and tell me what you get. This is where your research come in at. Now, again, one more time. Luke is an interesting writer because he did not know the prophet of the New Testament, what they call Jesus Christ, personally. He became a follower after his death when Paul taught him the gospel. Luke had been a physician, a doctor, but he left that profession to travel with Paul. He left that to travel with Paul. So now he's become a scholar. But matter of fact, he wasn't even an Israelite. Check this out. Did y'all see the last part right there? Is Luke Greek or Hebrew? Let me give you some information here. Is Luke Greek or Hebrew? Many scholars believe that Luke was a physician who lived in the Hellenistic city of Antioch. Antioch. Isn't this where they first started calling the Christians at? In the Hellenistic city of Antioch in ancient Syria. Born of a Greek family. At that time, they knew who they were. Israel knew who they were, that was. They hadn't got brainwashed. Israel knew who they were. They was among different people, but he was born of a Greek family. You had melanated Greeks at one time. And don't forget, remember what I'm saying, the third and fourth generation, the Greek and the Roman Empire? Born of a Greek family, although some scholars and theologians think Luke was a Hellenistic Jew. They think he was a Hellenistic Jew. That didn't mean he was. Excuse me. Excuse me. They got another. Who wrote the Gospel of Luke? I think I got a better one than that. Nope. I'm missing some pages. I'm missing. Who wrote the Gospel of Luke? The traditional view is that the Gospel of Luke and Acts were written by the physician Luke, a companion of Paul. Many scholars believe him to be a Gentile Christian. You see that? A Gentile Christian. You see that? Though some scholars think Luke was a Hellenistic, this Luke is mentioned in Paul's epistle to Philemon, whatever it is. Last but not least, did Luke write his own gospel? Over the centuries, numerous traditions have evolved around this somewhat shadowy evangelic Jew. Over the centuries, numerous traditions have evolved around this somewhat shadowy evangelistic Luke is credited with writing not only his gospel of the New Testament, the New Testament book of Acts as well. He was, according to tradition, a physician and a friend, I guess a friend and a companion of Paul. But that's it for that right there, because I'm missing some paper. I gotta find where some of my stuff is at. It should have been down in here, but let me put this back so I don't lose nothing. So I just gave you information on Luke right there, and I'm going in the book and show you where Luke, I'm going to find him real quick, way over in Antioch, and where he's being taught. And I think that was I can't remember exactly, so I'm going to have to run and try to find that real quick, and I ain't trying to waste that much time. I want to, real quick on that Luke situation. My Bible is breaking down, y'all. So hold on. Okay, right here I got Acts 11:26, 2 Timothy 4:11. I got clues up here. Okay, bam. Let me hit you with this one real quick. Acts 12. Acts 12 and 25. Check this out. Okay, you about to go out. I'm gonna have to do you like this. Sorry about that, y'all. Have to hold you up so you check me out. Over here in Acts 12 and 25, it states, and Barnabas and Saul returned from Jerusalem when they had fulfilled their ministry and took with them John, whose surname was Mark. Remember? I'm telling you that? John's name was supposed to be Mark. New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. They're the ones who spread these lies of all this stuff. Now, Acts 11:26. Let's go over here to Acts 11:26 real quick. Acts 11:26, and what we get. Over here in 11:26, it says, and when he had found him, he brought him to Antioch. And it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church and taught much people, and the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch. Let me make sure I give me a little. So if they was called Christians first in Antioch, why they call themselves Christians? They was called that by name. Whether if it was being ridiculed or what. The point is, they called them Christians. They called them Christians first in Antioch. They made a whole religion out of that situation. A whole religion. The whole world is saying, I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian. But they connect that with Jesus. Where was Jesus a Christian at? You see what I'm saying? Jesus wasn't over. They said right here, it tells you right here in the book. Acts 11:26. And when he had found him, he brought him into Antioch, and it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church. All they did is to present themselves. What do you do present yourself? All you doing is come together, lead, come together, lead, come together, lead, come together. Okay, now you're getting a name for yourself, huh? You get a name for yourself. Oh, y'all assembling every week. You come together every week. Oh, now comes the name. We gonna call them a Christian. Y'all keep coming together, them Christians. That's how Christian came about. Christianity. It says it right there. Yeah. That's what they did. And it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church and taught much people. And the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch. That's what it's called, Christians at first. Now, we got some people saying, well, Christianity it was over here first. Maybe the act or whatever they were doing, but the name Christian was there first. Why was it there first? Because it's a Greek title. And guess who carried that Greek title? Luke. So if it's a Greek title, how are they going to take somebody? Well, they said, well, we had Christianity first. Well, yeah, a lot of people had a lot of things first, but they didn't call it by that name. The Indians, what we call Indians and the Pilgrims, they invented baseball, but they didn't call it baseball. Y'all remember the story about the Christians and the natives? I'm gonna say native because they weren't Indians. The Native Americans or the natives at the time. One of them had a stick. One of them had rocks. One was throwing rocks. One was hitting it with the stick. One was throwing rocks. One was hitting it with the stick. I don't know which one was which, but I think it was the Indians had the stick, and I think the Pilgrims were throwing the rock, and then that's where baseball came from. Tell you, I know a lot of stuff. It's stuff that just came out of nowhere. But that's where baseball came. But it wasn't called baseball. That's how it evolved from. No different than Christianity evolved from right here in Antioch, right there in Acts 11 and 26. Let's get some more information out of here. All right, let's get over here to I'm here 2 Timothy 4 and 11 in a minute. Make sure I can see you. You can see me over here. There we go. Now, let's get over here to chapter 12. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Let's get over here. Let's finish up some more over here in Acts 11. Acts 11, I'm going to read on down all the way to 30. Call Christians first in Antioch. 27. And in these days came prophets from Jerusalem unto Antioch. And there stood up one of them named Agabus. Was that name? Wait a minute. I think that was the name of the guy. I don't know if that's him or not. I think that was the name in the Ethiopian information that they were sharing last night that I was reading, I was listening to. I think that was the name. I could be wrong, but that just hit me. And signified by the Spirit that there should be great dearth throughout the world. See that? There we go. There we go. I think this is where the Ethiopian book came in from that brother right there, or whoever he is. He ain't a brother. But throughout all the world. This is another point, y'all. Remember, as I was sharing with y'all in Daniel chapter 2, verse 39, at the end of 39, it said, and there shall rise up a third kingdom, which shall bear rule over all the earth. That's the Greeks. And what they're saying, Agabus signified by the Spirit that there should be great dearth throughout the earth, which came to pass in the days of Claudius Caesar. Claudius Caesar. You see that? They're telling you right here what happened throughout the time, how they took over the Greeks and the Roman Empire. Then the disciples, every man according to his ability, determined to send relief into the brethren which dwelt in Judea, which also did, and sent it to the elders of the hands of Barnabas and Saul, whose name was Paul. Barnabas and Saul. Herod kills James and imprisons Peter. Okay. Let's see what's something else I may have supposed to be looking at. See if anything else right here before I go to 2 Timothy. Okay, Acts 12:25, Acts 15:31 through 36 through 40. Okay, that's coming up on the other side. Okay, we just did Acts 12:25. Oh, I just did that. Looking at that, I did that. And Barnabas and Saul returned to Jerusalem when they had fulfilled their ministry. When they fulfilled their ministry, and took with them John, whose surname was Mark. Mm-hmm. Now let me go to run over here to okay, wait for Acts 15, 36 to 4. Let me see what I got. I'm glad I put some notes in here. I have to hold you because I don't have a stand for you. Instagram. Acts 15, 36 through 4. Let me see what you're looking at real quick. Where we at? 36 and 16. Oh, here we go. Paul and Barnabas. Here we go. Check this out. Check this out. 36 through 40. Paul and Barnabas depart company. And some days after, Paul said unto Barnabas, let us go again and visit our brethren in every city where we have preached the word of the Lord and see how they do. Right? 37. And Barnabas determined to take with them John, whose surname was Mark. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. But Paul thought not good to take him with them, who departed from them from Pamphylia, I guess that is, and went not with them to the work. And the contention was so sharp between them that they departed asunder one from another. The contention was so sharp again, but they probably preaching the same word though, right? But it was sharp from them. And so Barnabas took Mark and sailed to Cyprus. And Paul chose Silas and departed. He said he chose Silas, but that was Luke. Silas was Luke. And Paul chose Silas and departed, being recommended by the brethren unto the grace of, they say, God. Something I've seen over here that I remember reading. I had to come back there. And I'm reading verse 16 through 10. This is in my footnotes. In my footnote, it stated, for the first time, the author of Acts placed himself in the narrative by means of the first person, plural, personal pronouns, we and us. Luke seems to join the ministry team at Toros. Then at the end of chapter 16, remains at Philippi when the others leave. See that? That's when he put himself in there. And what part is it? 16:10. When it says, but I'm starting at 8. And they passing by Mysa came down to Taurus, and a vision appeared to Paul in the night. There stood a man of Macedonia and prayed him, prayed him, saying, come over to Macedonia and help us. And after this verse 10, and after he had seen the vision, immediately we, like you said, we and us, immediately we endeavor to go to Macedonia, as assuredly gathering that the Lord has called us for to preach the gospel unto them. That was us and we, which was Luke. All right. Now let me see what we had that was that 1 Timothy 11, another part that I was supposed to be checking out. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Where we at? Yeah, 2 Timothy 4 and 11. Let's see if we can find that real quick. I'm just giving you points of stuff that with the way the things has been laid out. 2 Timothy 4 and 11. Revelation. John. There you go, right there. 2 Timothy 4 and 11. What we got? Oh, yeah, right here. Only Luke is with me. Take Mark and bring him with thee, for he is profitable for me to the ministry. They just going around like some of these people today, trying to go to other places, trying to spread their God spell, their Christianity. Some of them got killed. Y'all remember hearing about that? They went to this island and got killed. And that's a lot of times they've been doing a lot of stuff that these Christians do because they don't know what they're supposed to know. They're carrying something they don't know nothing about. They've been taught. And I thank the Father for waking me up. I'm glad I was never really a Christian, you know. I was taught to believe in a Jesus, but I was never, it was just never part of my spirit. So, I'm glad I shared that. And you know what? Let me see how much time we in right now. Then we're an hour and 15 minutes. No. I did the Council of what occurred at the Council of Nicaea. I did that last week. Please go and check out Revelation 13 in full. Check that out. A lot of information came out there. G1 shared some information about today. And matter of fact, let me go ahead and just throw some of this up. I'm just mainly talking at this point in time. I gave some scripture right then, but what I want to share with you at this point in time is this. But I do want to share this with you though. Victorious Philly D. Let me give this to y'all so y'all can do your own research on this as well. Because Vicarious. I'm going to spell it the way y'all have it. Put it in your search engine, pull it up. Say it's Vicarious Philly D 666. Put that in there, which is the Pope. This is his actual title. Now I'm going to read this to you. Vicarious Philly D. Let me go ahead and see if I get some lighting on that. Vicarious Philly D. I'm gonna read some information about him to you. Vicarious Philly D. This is the name of the Pope. This is the Pope's title. And when you break this down in numeral numbers, because all numbers have a numeric number to it, this title comes up to 666. This is who he's talking about. Everybody talking about 666, man. What do you say? 6-point carbon, 6-point. I can't even remember the names, but that's not what he's talking about. They said this is the number of a man. He ain't said this is the number of man. This is the number of a man. Vicarious Philly D. Vicarious Philly D, which is Vicarius. 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 One more time. Vicarius. Philly. F-I-L-I-I. 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 D. D-E-I. 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 Vicarious Philly D. In Latin, vicar or representative of the Son of God. He's supposed to be representative of the Son of God. Who made him the Son of God when he's not Israel? Israel only you have I known. Amos 3 and 2. Israel, but what made him representative of the Son of God? It is a phrase first used in the forged medieval donation of Constantine. See that? Forged, you know what forged is, don't you? Medieval donation of Constantine to refer to Saint Peter, who is regarded as the, the name will come out or did I miss it? As the, like I'm missing because I had to pull the rest of that out. Vicar of the Son of God, vicar of the Son of God, or representative of the Son of God in English. Here's a more detailed explanation. Origin. The phase is the phase is in the phase is Latin. The phrase is Latin, and it's been used in the context of the Catholic Church, particularly in relation to the Pope. See that? I'll say it again. Origin. The phrase is Latin, and it's been used in the context of the Catholic Church, particularly in relation to the Pope, meaning vicarious, meaning vicar or representative, while Philly D translates to of the son of the son of the son of. What is the number 666 for? What is the number 666 for? The Pope. This historical, let me show this to y'all. I'm not just reading. I actually had this print out. It just come out real big for some reason. What is the number 666 for? The Pope. This historical interpretation identifies the number 666 with the papal titles Vicarious Filii. You see that? 666 with the papal title Vicarious Filii, meaning Vicar of the Son of God. Vicar of the Son of God. This phrase has been used by popes for centuries. This is some people didn't know. That's why it says that this should be the number of a man, and his number shall be 666. This phrase has been used by popes for centuries to defend their celestial and temporal authority. See that? Let's look at this one more time. So now we actually know what the number 666 really means, not what people say and think. Because the Pope is over the Vatican and everything, but he's actually has process and over the birth certificate, social security card, and ID card. A lot of people don't know this. But you know something? I'm gonna leave that up front. It's information out here that people need to know. If you go, this is more like a second piece. Don't forget, look up 1933. Look when the birth certificate was made. Look up when did they come out with the birth certificate, social security cards, ID card. What does 1933 is significant to? Look up. That was actually the beginning of the New World Order. Everything that's going on now is a part of the New World Order as it moves on into the system. That was the beginning of the New World Order, just like you have Old Rome and New Rome. Excuse me. Let me break that down to you. Old Rome is what started the Council of Nicaea and the Council of Constantinople. They was fighting for 56 years. From 325 AD to 381 AD. 56 years. Till the deadly wound was here. The deadly wound was Christianity. The deadly wound was the God spell. That was the deadly wound. It was healed when they got rid of the Arians. They got rid of them, they came strong, and this is where Christianity took over the earth. They made an image to the beast. You'll find in Revelation 13 and 14. 14 and 15, my bad. That image of the beast is Jesus. And any image anybody want to make, but Jesus is the main image, which is of Christianity, what we just read about. It's sad, but our people got to wake up. We're in the last days and time is short. I just hope this get around to a lot of people like and share this information. You know what I'm saying? So look up Adam Weishaupt, 1933. Find out all the information you can. Look up Council of Nicaea, the Council of Nicaea. What else is there? That's about all I can think of at the moment. Just to give y'all some homework to check out. And y'all go back and look at some of the things, like I said, tonight, the information I shared tonight, and also look at last week's Revelation 13. A lot of stuff gonna start coming together. Y'all gonna be able to see. Then I would really urge y'all to go and check out Deuteronomy 30 and a lot of other information. Deuteronomy 28, Deuteronomy 30. So we are the Valley of Dry Bones Awakening, and we in the day of the awakening. But as I shared in Genesis 1 through 5, all this was seen in the beginning. So, other than that, I just like to share with you that I am that Mikael in Daniel chapter 12, verses 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's me. Showing the holy people who they're really supposed to be. Waking them out of their dead beds, which is really in their heads. For all of you who's living in the new, this is for you. I'm the same Mikael in Revelations 12, battling that red dragon where Satan dwells, who deceiveth the whole world but prevail him not, because the horn is blown, without a doubt. This was prophesied for you to see that Mikael is really me. I love y'all. I appreciate love you. And I'm carrying out my promise as much as I can, and as much as I can because I love doing it and waking our people up and letting them know. So other than that, what I will do is this. We get ready to do the benediction, and then we're going to smile our way out. Where we at? We're at the benediction. And the benediction is, this is the priestly benediction, and this is in Numbers chapter 6, verse 22 through 27. And it states, And Yah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, Yah bless thee and keep thee. Yah make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. Yah lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. And they shall put Yah's name, which is his laws, upon the children of Israel, and Yah will bless them. Hallelujah. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shekebo, Bakuto Violam, Vaed, Hallelujah. Hear, O Israel, Yah our Father is one Father. Blessed be thy glorious kingdom forever and ever. Hallelujah. Thank you, Father, for the reading of your word. Allow people to see, know, and understand the information of the history that was given tonight. Let them understand it, see it, and accept it. In your holy word and spirit and all things we pray. Hallelujah. 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 Praise you, Almighty. And right now, just wanted to share with everyone that if you'd like to get in contact with me, you're welcome to call or text me at 770-572-5315. That's 770-572-5315. And you also can email me at lkhyym@gmail.com. That's lkhyym at gmail.com. And if you'd like to connect with me, or should I say, if you'd like to check out part one and part two of the information that's been shared, not just tonight, but all our part ones and part two on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. That's Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can always check them out. What shall I say? First on YouTube, you can always go to Juice Pro 33 on YouTube, and this is part one and part two under live. That's under the live feed. That's part one and part two on YouTube at um, JUICEPRO33. That's JUICEPRO33. You can also see part one and part two on Instagram, which is Lakaim underscore the juice, but which is spelled LKHYYM underscore THEJUICE. Again, that's LKHYYM underscore THEJUICE. You can also see part one and part two on Facebook. That's Facebook, which is Mikael Harris. That's MI apostrophe CHAEL space HARRIS. That's MI apostrophe CHAEL space HARRIS. Now, those is for part one and part two. Now, if you'd like to see the full version, which I'm converting from Zoom, the full version is on YouTube as well, but it's under video. It's under video. All my full versions under video, and on that's still the page and the name is Juice Pro 33, which is JUICEPRO 33. That's JUICE. Excuse me. PRO 33. That's on. That is on Facebook. No. That's on YouTube, and that's on X, formerly known as Twitter. That's X, formerly known as Twitter, which is JUICEPRO33 as well. Now, you can also catch me on rumble.com, which is rumble.com/LKHYYM. That's rumble.com/LKHYYM, as well as patreon.com/LKHYYM. That's patreon.com/LKH, excuse me, YYM. All right. Now, for if you like to catch me on TikTok. Now, my TikToks is same as Instagram, which is LKHYYM underscore THEJUICE, but you start off with the at sign. That's at at LKHYYM underscore THEJUICE. And last but not least, for my TikTok, I have Michael the Juice Harris, which is at MICHAELTHEJUICEHARRI. Excuse me, S. Again, that last TikTok, MICHAELTHEJUICEHARRIS. Now, for the platforms for Zoom, if you'd like to get on, you can see them in my information as well. It was one I said I was going to put in tonight. Oh, yeah. I got to remember that, too, to put it in. But other than that, you can also catch me on the nights on my Zoom, which is Fight Fire with Truth, is on the night after Sunday at 9 p.m. Fight Fire with Truth is a night after Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, which is open conversation. Mikael's Knowledge of Truth, just like tonight, which is the night after Monday. That's Mikael's Knowledge of Truth, the night after Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Excuse me. Then also we have the Also, we have the introductory to solving class of knowledge. That's introduction, might as well say, to solving class of knowledge. The introduction to solving class of knowledge is on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. That's 6 p.m. Eastern. For those who want to get in, please text or email me. Let me know you want to come in, and I would need your, if you can, text me your name, email, and your number. Your name, email, number, because that way I like to know who all's coming in, and I can put you on the Google Calendar, and we'll go from there. Last but not least, to be determined for Wednesday. We're not going to speak on that right now because we haven't started, but that's to be determined. But on the Sabbath, again, we have the Sabbath Assembly of the Righteous. That's the Sabbath Assembly of the Righteous on the Sabbath at 12 p.m. noon. 12 p.m. noon. Other than that, I thank you for your time, your patience, your listening ear, your seeing eye. And I'm getting ready to say bye first since Instagram is about to go out. I thank you for your time, your patience. Let me see if I can catch you before you go out just so I don't lose you in the archives. One more time. I thank you for your time, your patience, your listening ear, your seeing eye. Appreciate, love you. See you soon and always. Peace. All right. Saved by the bell, might as well say. And there we go. You good right there. And over here on Facebook, I like to thank you for your time, your patience, your listening ear, and your seeing eye. Appreciate, love you. Hope you enjoyed the information, and see you soon. Peace. Yeah, I'm about to get it out tonight, bro. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow night, or I'll see you on the Sabbath. Gonna say bye to my brother G1. You hold it down, bro. And I'll see you soon. Peace.
Recording stopped.
Alrighty. Tight. And over here on YouTube Live, I thank you for your time, your patience, your listening ear, and your seeing eye. Appreciate, love you. See you soon and always. Peace. Love you.